Hello folks, this is Sula speaking. You're listening to another video for Teamfight Tactics. In this video, we're going to look at one of the traits in set 13 that I haven't really explored yet in a video, and that is the Academy trait, one of the most interesting traits added here in set 13. It's a little awkward to use. By the way, we're going to get a thematic, very thematic for this game. We're going to get a Heimerdinger encounter. Tweaks the last augment to be prismatic. Academy trait, as I said, a little awkward to use, and I don't have a lot of experience playing with it yet in the set. It's one of the traits I just haven't really delved into too much. And you're going to see over the course of this game that there are some mistakes that part of the reason why I wanted to cast this game was to go back and look at some of the things I did and some of the things I could do better. But it's just a very unique trait, and I think it's a great addition to the set. It's basically Exalted trait from set 11, but with items instead of champions. It's like there's a little mini quest that you play during the game, and it involves getting individual certain items instead of having certain champions that give you special functions. Now, the reason why I thought right away about playing into Academy in this game is I have an Ezreal drop from the first minion round, and anytime you get an early Ezreal, you definitely can be thinking about playing into Academy. Ezreal actually has 3 traits. He has Academy plus Rebel plus Artillerist, so any of those are pretty viable to go into, but I will be going into more of the Academy aspect in this particular game. I guess I could have done a Rebel start as well. Academy is an interesting trait. Again, I keep saying that, kind of my crutch word here, but it is unique in the sense that it also has a very straightforward champion cost pattern. It has 5 champions, and there is a 1 cost, a 2 cost, a 3 cost, a 4 cost, and a 5 cost. So that's about the simplest pattern in terms of champions you could possibly get. And then the trait tiers are not what you might expect either. You need 3 champions in order to get Academy in play. So you can't play it with just 2. You do have to get 3 Academy champions in order to play it. So you definitely have to you basically have to find the Ezreal or an early emblem, or else you can't play it. Here I'm looking at the different options. I did think about this domination one. Dominators gain 10%, 10% attack speed while shielded. When they get a kill, all Dominators gain a shield. So Dominators are actually pretty strong in the current meta, but the problem was I didn't really have any Dominators here at my start. I was hesitant to go into that since I didn't have any. So I just take this one, Reigning Gold, gain 8 gold now, gain 1 gold every round. This does a lot to accelerate your start economically. Okay, so then I luck out and I get another Lux. I get 2 more Luxes in my store. And then I also get a 2-star Aurelia Ascend that comes over from Headwinder, which is going to be really, really nice. So the luck of finding the early Ezreal, plus getting the early 2-star Lux, plus getting that Aurelia 2-star coming over from Headwinder, all has combined to give me what should be a pretty good start here, and I'm hoping that I can win streak off of this. Headwinder has found an early Kog'Maw, and he's going to be looking to play the Cog setup for this particular game. Now, I'm actually hoping I can win this round, because if I do, I'll sell that Aurelia, and then I'll immediately be at 10 gold right out of the bat. And like, this is what that Reigning Gold does. It does not give you any combat power whatsoever, but it really does help your econ, because look, I leveled to level 4 and I still hit 10 gold at the end of 2-1. That's really, really nice. So I'm going to have a nice econ start and hopefully a reasonably strong board strength start as well. Okay, getting back to Academy. So as I said, it's an interesting trait structure for playing this. Remember, it's 1 cost, 2 cost, 3 cost, 4 cost, 5 cost, and you can't get the trait in until you have 3 champions in. Then after that, the trait tiers are 3, 4, 5, and 6. So like you don't have, it's not like the standard traits. Most traits are like that Conqueror that's on the board right now, 2, 4, 6, or like 3, 5, 7. That's what Rebel is. Rebel is 3, 5, 7, and 10. No, Academy is 3, 4, 5, and 6. So every time you add, you need 3 to get the trait activated, but every single additional Academy unit that you play after that gives you an additional tier of the trait. The Academy also sponsors items, and that's really what this thing does, is it plays through certain items, and those items are different in each game. So some games might be more viable than others based on what those Academy items are. In this particular game, our 3 items are Hand of Justice, Warmogs, and Giant Slayer. So there's no overlap on the components there. We're going to end up having, it's Glove and Tear for the Hand of Justice. It is double belt for the Warmogs, and then it's sword plus bow for the Giant Slayer. So those are our 3 items. And if we're going to be playing into Academy, we ideally want to be trying to make those items. You also get free copies of those items as you play into Academy trait. But at least at this point in time, I was not planning on playing deep into Academy trait. So I went ahead and just slammed the Infinity Edge right out of the gate on Ezreal. I could have potentially tried to hold that for like half of a Giant Slayer, half of a Hand of Justice. But as I said, I really was not intending to go that deeply into the trait here at the start of the game. And I had the sword and the glove. I wanted to go ahead and make use of them just so I could start getting some value out of them. But like, if you know you're going to play deeply into Academy trait from the start of the game, you should be trying to plan around building the items that are the sponsored items from the Academy. I did not do that in this game, and I probably did not get as much value out of this as I could have. As I said, wasn't planning on diving too deeply into Academy trait at the start of the game. And I don't have a lot of experience with this trait. It's a little bit like Scrap in this set, in the sense that as you play, you kind of have to adopt a little bit of an unusual play style. Just like with Scrap, you're kind of putting like individual components on all the Scrap champions instead of making finished items. Here with Academy, it's somewhat similar in the sense that you want to be making the sponsored items. So I do want to try to make a Wormogs. I would have gone for that, but sadly that is not an option there. So I will go ahead and grab the Blitzcrank instead. I really would have liked to take that belt because I would like to make at least one Wormogs, if not two, but the belt is just not an option there. All right, now the good news is I do get a Leona in my shop, and this is what I was looking for. I was trying to get a Leona so that I could look to get Academy trait in. So now I have the 1 cost, the 2 cost, and the 3 cost units. I have 2-star Lux. Lux is the 1 cost Academy unit. She is Academy plus Sorcerer. I have Leona, who's Academy plus Sentinel in there right now. And then I found the early Ezreal, who again has 3 traits. So what does this trait do? It's a kind of a complicated trait. So while we've got time here, I'll go ahead and read the full description, which is quite lengthy. You've seen my past self highlighting this a bit. It says the Academy sponsors 3 items each game. Again, in this game, it's what is it? It's Hand of Justice, Wormogs, and Giant Slayer. Copies of sponsored items grant bonus max health and damage amp. So in addition to what the items normally do, they also grant health, max health, and they also grant damage amp to whoever is using those items. Academy units holding sponsored items gain double the amount, plus an additional 5% health and damage amp. So you really want to put the sponsored items on Academy champions because they get double the benefit that non-Academy units get. So the way that this trait generally works is, and you also get a free copy of the sponsored items. You can see by putting in Academy 3, I got a Hand of Justice. Now, if I get Academy 4 in, I'll get a Wormogs, and Academy 5 would give me a Giant Slayer. So the deeper you play into this trait, the more items you get for free. And obviously getting free items is pretty good. Generally speaking, 1 free item is considered to be about the value of a silver augment, and 2 free items is about the value of a gold augment. I think 3 is about the value of a prismatic. That's roughly speaking, but that's kind of how some of these augments have valued over the course of the various sets that they've done. So playing deeper into the trait gives you more of those items. At Academy 5, you get a copy of all 3 of the sponsored items. And you also get an increased amount of that max health and that increased damage amplification. At Academy 3, you don't really get a whole lot of max health or damage amp. At Academy 3, it is 2% additional health and 2% additional damage amp. Again, it doesn't sound like that much. It isn't really that much. Academy 3 mostly just gives you the free item. That said, remember, if Academy units are holding it, they gain double the amount. So right now, Ezreal, who is an Academy unit, is holding the Hand of Justice. So he gains double the amount. That's 4% max health and 4% damage amp, plus an additional 5% health and damage amp. So add that together, 2% times 2 is 4%. Add on the flat 5% for being an Academy unit. So Ezreal is getting 9% more max health and 9% additional damage amp. And you know, that's not that bad. Plus the Hand of Justice is not really that bad of an item for him in the first place. So I'm pretty happy with that. And Hand of Justice does have some synergy with the Infinity Edge because they both give critical strike chance. So I'm reasonably pleased with how that's working out. The other nice thing is I have win streaked all the way through stage 2. As I said, I was hoping that I'd be able to do that. I was kind of hoping that none of these other boards would be that strong, but so far they really haven't been. I'm going to send the Blitzcrank over to Headwinder, and I was 50 gold level 5 there, so I was pretty pleased with that. Now I'm going to go ahead and level and toss in the Rel, and that's going to give me 4 Sentinel. I am hoping to play up to 6 Sentinel long term. I'm a little disappointed I was getting more vests and cloaks for my tank items. I really, really wanted belts because, as I said, I want to make a Warmogs because it's one of the sponsored items, but I just can't really do that because I haven't gotten any belts yet. So I was a little disappointed about that, but I just have not gotten the items there. And then I've gotten another tier, but I don't really want to use that for Hand of Justice because I'm trying to play into Heimerdinger later on. Heimer's another one of the Academy units. He is the 4-cost Academy unit. So I want to play into Heimer later on, and I really want to give him a blue buff. So I'm going to need to save tiers for that. So it's a little unfortunate in terms of the items that were sponsored this game. Giant Slayer is not something you'd want to make early game anyway. And the Warmogs is great. I actually love having Warmogs as a sponsored item, but the game is not giving me any belts, and that's a little bit disappointing. Anyway, I was able to win that round, so the win streak continues, and so far it's been a really strong early game, and I'm pretty happy with this. Now we get our next augment, and it's Prismatic, so I was like, oh, okay. Well, let's at least look at the options. And then I see Sentinel Crown, and I'm like, done. I don't even look at the other options, which is actually bad. You should always look at the other options. But I want to play this because this will let me play 6 Sentinel very, very easily. I also get a Crown Guard for free. It would be nice if Crown Guard was a sponsored item. I could actually make that pretty easily. But I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to put these tank items on Leona because she is a 2-star 2 cost instead of a 2-star 1 cost. And so now if I want, I can go ahead and I'm actually going to put the Urgot in, give him the Sentinel emblem, and that allows me to play 4 Sentinels here, maintain the 3 Academy, and it also puts Artillerist trait in play for Ezreal. Artillerist will give him a little bit of extra damage. What does this trait officially do? No one ever seems to play too deeply into this trait. What does Artillerist do again? Every 5 attacks, Artillerists launch a rocket that deals 125% attack damage. They also gain attack damage. Okay. Gotcha. So it gives them AD, and every 5th attack, they fire a large rocket. As you play deeper into the trait, you get more AD, but it's in the current state of the game, it's rarely worthwhile to go beyond 2 Artillerist. I think only if you're playing a Trist build, Trist is the 2-cost Artillerist, only if you're playing a Trist build is it like worthwhile to go deeper into the trait. So I was very, very pleased with that Prismatic augment. And I was able to get up to the 4 Sentinel, and now it should be very easy to play 6 Sentinel on this board later on. By the way, there's an early Elise, but I was like, there's so many 4 costs I could play on this board. I could play Alawi because she's a Sentinel. I could play Heimerdinger. I can play Quirky. I want to play both of them. I was like, there's also a lot of the 4 costs that I could send over to Headwinder. Like, if it was a Mundo, that would be great for him. If it was Twitch, he could even potentially play that. So, like, there's so many 4 costs that one or the other of us could have used. But sadly, Elise is not on either of our boards in this game. As I was saying, I've been feeling that Sentinel frontlines are just really a little bit overtuned in this patch. We are on the B version of the winter patch. This is the patch that's going to extend throughout the winter holidays. Obviously, there was a B patch because there's always a B patch in TFT. But in this patch, it does feel like Sentinels are a little bit overtuned. They just seem to be a little bit too strong. You can kind of play 6 Sentinel, and it feels like you can play almost anything behind it, and you'll still be in reasonably good shape. So in this game, we're going to look to play some Academy units with it, along with Quirky, and go from there. All right, so I was going to win that round anyway, and I'm on an 8-match win streak, so this game's been going great thus far. I could have even leveled to 7 there, but I didn't really have another unit to put in, and I actually looked at who I was up against, and I was like, all right, I think I can beat both of these teams. I don't need to level. There is an Alawi with a frying pan there. That would be spectacular if I could get that. I could make another Sentinel emblem with that, but I don't think that I'm going to get that, and indeed, the Alawi gets snapped up pretty quickly. As far as items here, I would not mind the belt. Remember, I'm trying to make 2 Warmogs, or I'm trying to make 8 Warmogs. That would be really nice for me, but there's also a tier here. So I'm going to go ahead and try to snag this tier, and I do, in fact, get it. That other player wanted it, but I got it. And that's because, again, I mentioned I want to make a blue buff for Heimerdinger. I actually want to make blue buff and Archangel Staff on him if I can. So that requires a lot of tiers. And well, if I need tiers, I might as well go ahead and grab them because, as I said, I have 2 tiers thus far, and I want to get another one down the road. All right, there's also a component anvil here, and I see that a belt is finally an option, so I believe I take the belt here, yeah. Because again, I still want to get Warmogs. Now, if I can get another Academy unit in, I will get a Warmogs for free because 4 Academy will give me a Warmogs. But for right now, I'm going to go ahead and stuff the Singed on this board for lack of anything better to put in. And Lux will hold the items that are going to go on on Heimerdinger eventually. She can hold them for right now. Lux is kind of a support unit. She doesn't really do that much damage. Her ability when she tosses it out, she shields an allied unit, and then her next auto attack deals more damage. So I'm on the somewhat awkward 5 Sentinel right now, but I'll be able to get the 6 Sentinel in as soon as I hit level 8. And then we'll just look to see how we can fill out this board. I am going to be under a fair amount of competition for Sentinels because they are, as I said, they seem to be pretty strong in this patch. So they tend to be contested with the other players. Like I would love to have like the Warmogs that's on that Leona over there. But it looks like I would win this round anyway. The Headwinder coming over makes it a moot point, but I do think I would have won this round anyway. Still, it's just my front line is very tanky, and even though I've had a 1-star Ezreal, I've not found a single Ezreal this entire game. But 1-star Ezreal still carrying the damage load. I guess I'm getting a little extra damage from the Urgot and from the Lux back there, but it's pretty much just been a 1-star Ezreal. So I'm really glad he's been able to make use of that Hand of Justice and get, the 9% bonus health and 9% damage amp. He's kind of had to carry me through all these fights. So I did hit some early 2-star frontliners. I thought that my board at like the beginning of stage 2 was really strong, but I kind of haven't hit very much here on stage 3. I'm just trying to econ as fast as possible, and I really, really hope I can win this round because then I can extend a 10-match win streak into the minion stage here. Meanwhile, over there, Headwinder kind of is going through the same thing. He still only has 2 Cogmauls. He saw a Cogmaul on the initial minion drop, and he's only seen 1 more since then. So he's still on 1-star Cog, but I believe he's only lost 1 round the whole game. Maybe it was 2 rounds. He really hasn't lost hardly anything at all. So he is not on quite as long of a win streak as me, but his board's also in really good shape, but he just has not been finding the Cogmauls. This round I'm up against this extremely tanky Alawi, so that's taking a long, long time. It looks like we did get the armor shred on that unit there, thankfully. All right, I think I would have won this round, but I'm not 100% sure. Fortunately, Headwinder won, and that's going to get me out to the full 10-match win streak. And we're just going to go from there. So it was a really, really, really good stage. Really good stage 2 and 3. I'm also grabbing these extra Leonas because I was like, all right, well, why not? I'm already on 5 Leonas. She's not going to come off my board no matter what because I'm playing Sentinel and Academy, and she has both traits, so I'm not going to drop her. So I will just continue to hold the Leona on my board for the time being. And if we're already at 5 at the end of stage 3, maybe we'll be able to get up to 9 of them. You never know. It's not a high priority for me, but it's early enough in the game, and I have enough econ that I can do that. All right, so once again, I'm going to get more of these items, and can I get like another belt here? No, I'm actually going to get a bunch of swords here. So I was like, okay. I do get a Mundo, which is going to be useful for Headwinder, if not for me. And I wanted to go ahead. Oh, I didn't end up picking that up. I actually get multiple Mundos. I do get a Heimerdinger send coming over here from Headwinder over there. And I'm looking through here, and I need to pick up this set. Oh, there's several sets here I missed. Oof. Yikes. Oh, well. I thought that I might have wanted the set here, but I guess not. I guess I didn't need to play that. I was thinking maybe it would give me a Rebel option, but no. And there's Corki, so I definitely want to get Corki on my board as well. But anyway, I was able to get the Heimerdinger on my board, so that's big. And now I've got all of these items here. I actually did get a free Warmogs on one of my sponsored items. So I'm going to go ahead and do the Archangel Staff because I got another tier. I really would have liked another belt. I also could have opted to make a Hand of Justice. Remember, Hand of Justice is one of our sponsored items, but I really wanted that Archangel Staff for Heimerdinger because Blue Buff plus Archangels are like his 2 best items, and I did have the chance to make that. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Lux is still holding the items for now, and it looks like I was able to win this round. So I rolled very aggressively, but again, I was on a win streak, and I wanted to try to hit some of my units, and now I'm going to try to look to econ back up again after rolling aggressively. Now it's the last augment, and it's another prismatic, and I was like, okay. So I don't want the critical strike one because I already made an Infinity Edge. I don't need Piercing Lotus, so it would be kind of wasteful to do that. Call to Chaos, no. I was thinking maybe a movable object, but then, I get Academy Emblem. So now I can play deeper into Academy. I could actually play 6 Academy if I end up playing, if I ended up finding a Jace. I could actually do that. My random sponsored item ends up being, what did I end up getting here? What did I get? I'm trying to remember. What did I end up getting here? Let's see. I am moving some of these items around. Moving the Hand of Justice. I got a Giant Slayer. So I put all these items on Corki. And then, you know what it was? It gave me another Hand of Justice. That's right. And now I need to go ahead and place the Warmogs on a frontliner. So I end up putting it on the Loris here. And now I do want to put that Sentinel Crest on somebody because I'm on 5 Academy, but I did drop down to 4 Sentinel. So I need to get the Rel back on the board somehow. So let's see, we'll go ahead and do that. That gets me to 5 Academy, 5 Sentinel. And now I have some of these leftover items here. So it doesn't look like I'm going to win this round. This one's reasonably close. Can we kill that Vlad? Actually, no. Do we kill the Vlad? Do we win this one? It's very close. Come on, Corky. Okay. I thought that was where my win streak finally came to a close. Now, what do we get by going up to the 5 Academy here? Just as a quick refresher. Well, remember I said that the 2 Academy is, or the 3 Academy, excuse me, is 2% max health and damage amp. For each copy of the sponsored item, and that goes up to 5% health and damage amp, and that's per sponsored copy of the items. You see, I also go ahead and make another Infinity Edge right there. Again, that is doubled on Academy units, and they also gain an additional 5% health and damage item. So like right now, unfortunately, so this is where this is me playing this comp like for the first time and not being super familiar with this. The problem is I am not putting the sponsored items on the Academy units, which is kind of bad. I also really should not have made the Sunfire. I should have tried to make another Warmogs there. So remember, the benefits are much bigger if the sponsored items go on the Academy units. So like right now, Corky has double sponsored items. He has the Giant Slayer, and he also has the Hand of Justice. So he has 2 sponsored items. Well, that gives him, 5% times 2. So he gets 10% damage amp, and he gets 10% bonus max HP. Again, not bad, and he does get 2 items for free, so certainly not bad. But if I put that on an Academy unit, they would gain double the benefit. So that would be, instead of getting 5% and 5%, that would be 10% and 10%, plus another 5% health and damage amp. So instead of getting 10% health and damage amp, if I put those on an Academy unit, I'd be getting 25% health and damage amp. Like, that's just clearly a lot better there. So it's not like it's bad to put these on Corky, who is not an Academy unit, but I would be getting a much bigger benefit. Like, if they were both on Ezreal, he'd get 25% health and damage amp, where it's only 10%. And then look at this, I get an early Jace, and that's fantastic. So I am 100% going to play this Jace. I can just drop the Lux overall, and now I'm starting to realize that some of these items are like maybe not on the units they should be. I need to put the Sentinel item on someone, so I will put it on Ezreal. And the reason that is just so I can stash that, because I don't want to use up an item slot on Corky or Heimerdinger or Jace. So like someone needs to hold the Sentinel emblem, and I don't want it to go on any of my carries, so I'm going to put it on the Ezreal. This does mean that Ezreal will not have any of the sponsored items from the Academy, though. The one place where I have done something right is I did combine together the Warmogs with the Academy emblem on Loris. Like, I did actually combine those together. And so remember, because Loris is now an Academy unit, he gets, 10% max health and another 5% max health from having the Warmog. So he gets 15% max health from having that item over there. By the way, look how close this fight is, but it looks like I am able to win that one. So it makes sense if I'm going to put that Warmogs on anyone, it really should be on an Academy unit, and it's probably better to put it on him than to put it on the Leona over there. All right, now it's time for our evolution, and I really should try to put, like, I would like to put, I wouldn't mind getting a tank one, but I wasn't sure I wanted, like, Loris to get this. I was like, no, not Hypervelocity. No, it's not Heavy Hitter. Consume the nearest ally, no. Fireball, no. Knockout, no. These are not really the ones I want. It's not Unstoppable Force. These are a lot more than I wanted to roll. It's not Dragon Saw. Fortified would be good, but I don't have like one of my high cost ones. So I'll take Nothing Wasted instead. The problem was I don't have either Alawi or Rumble in yet. So like those are the 4 and 5 cost Sentinel units. I would have liked some of those tank ones, but I didn't have Alawi yet on my board, and I wouldn't want to give it like to Loris. I mean, I guess I could have. Loris is actually pretty freaking tanky with these items on there. Yeah, actually, I could have just picked Loris or something. Instead, I took the one that gives Heimer mana when allies die, which is not going to be bad. But the part of the problem is none of the sponsored Academy items are on Heimer. It's actually kind of a bad set of sponsored items for Heimer. There's nothing that's like really AP based. And like I could give him a Giant Slayer, I suppose. But as I said, none of these sponsored items are really great on Heimerdinger. I guess I could have given him the Giant Slayer. Since I gave him the Anomaly, I probably should have put the Giant Slayer on him, because that would be worth 15% damage amp, and that would be probably worthwhile to do. So like I said, part of the reason why I wanted to do this game is I'm like trying to think through playing Academy. It involves playing the game just a little bit differently. By the way, this person's playing a similar board over there. Looks like they had a slightly stronger board than me. But I'm trying to get to level 9 because I want to get the 6 Sentinel in. I really want to get another Sentinel. Anyway, I do hit the Corki 2 here. So that actually helps my board a lot. I probably would have won that round if I'd had Corki 2. And so now Headwinder over there has a pair of Heimers. So he's going to send me a Heimer, and then that's going to be sufficient for me to get Heimer 2-star. And that's just because I know I have the Heimer send coming on over. I'm content to go level 9. Level 9, again, like I said, will let me put Rel on the board for 6 Sentinel. I also have much better odds to find Jace, and I really do want to find Alawi and Rumble, who are the high-cost Sentinels. I've actually had pretty good luck at finding everything else, but I haven't really found the Rumbles. By the way, I wish I hadn't sold my Leonas, because that would have taken me to 6 Leonas, but I sold them earlier in the game because I was trying to raise Econ. Kind of wish I hadn't done that. All right, well, I melt down my economy to get to level 9, because I did want to get the 6 Sentinel in. Might have been better to wait another round or two, because like I roll down here, and I don't really find anything. So I was like, that's not great. Anyway, I go ahead and wanted to make a Last Whisper, so we'll go ahead and make the Last Whisper. But again, you can see that I'm not used to playing Academy because I had the chance to make a Giant Slayer there, which is what I 100% should have done. I should have made the Giant Slayer and put it on Jace, because again, Jace is an Academy unit, so by putting Giant Slayer on him, he'd get 15% max health and 15% damage amp just for having Giant Slayer on him, which is not a bad item on him, and of course it could also have gone on Heimer. So as I said, I was just kind of playing this game like a normal game, and I wasn't really internalizing how to make good use of all of the Academy items, because as I said, I really haven't played this trait much, and it does kind of require you to do some unusual play patterns, but I didn't make use of it as well as I could. So like I'm kind of leaving a lot of combat power on the table by not accentuating this better, by like not making better use of these. All right, I did find a Malzahar, so that's going to go over to Headwinder, and he finds me a 2-star Heimerdinger. Now, in theory, I do not have to sell my Heimerdinger. I could item remover the items off the 1-star Heimer and then put them on the 2-star Heimer and like save the 5 Heimers. But like, here's the problem. By the way, here I get another bow. Oh, do I go ahead and make the Giant Slayer on Jace here? I think I do. Here's the problem is I'm going to want to move some of my frontline items around. So I wanted to save that item remover for some of my frontline stuff. So I think I end up selling the extra Heimers and just not making a play for Heimer 3-star. So anyway, I will move those over. And then I believe I do actually make the Giant Slayer on Jace, I think. All right. So that's actually big because, again, Jace has now got a sponsored item. So that's going to give him the 15% damage amp for having a sponsor, and 15% max health for having a sponsored item as an Academy unit. So that actually helps Jace's damage out an awful lot by taking advantage of that. So as I said, I did troll my items to some extent in this game, but overall, I was able to get at least pretty good use out of the Academy. And now I still do not have Alawi on my board yet. No Alawi, no Rumble yet. I've kind of hit most of the other things I want. So I just need Alawi, Rumble, and then I need Jace 2-star. And oof, just barely going to sneak that win out over there. So I wish I had a little bit more money here, but it is what it is. By the way, I had the chance to do the second half of the gift round for Headwinder, and I believe he takes the Champion Duplicator. He has managed to make 6 Automata because he was able to get the +1 Automata. And by the way, there's a Victor in my store. I was like, oh my god, Victor? How do I get Victor on this board now? Because obviously I want to play Victor, but I can't see anything to take out. The only way to play him would be to drop down to 4 Sentinel, and I really didn't want to do that. You could make the argument that not playing Victor is pretty dumb because he's so overtuned here in this current patch. So they did nerf him a little bit, but he's still really overtuned. I just couldn't see how to get him on the board, unfortunately. Now, you could also make the case of, well, now the play is just go to level 10 and stuff Victor on the board, and that might very well have been the play. But I really, really wanted to try to upgrade my frontline further. I don't really feel comfortable with what I've got here. Like, I still only have Alawi 1-star. I don't have any, still haven't found a single Rumble yet. And I do just have the 1 Jace. I kind of want Jace 2-star as well. So ultimately, I was like, I just don't see how I get Victor on my board here. I'd have to drop down to 4 Sentinel, and I don't want to do that. I have the Sentinel emblem, so it seems silly not to play 6 Sentinel. I mean, like, you could say drop an Academy unit, but like, who do I drop? Like, Heimerdinger is my main carry. Ezreal gives me both, Ezreal gives me Rebel and Academy and Artillerist, so I can't drop him. If I drop Leona, I can't play the 6 Sentinel either. Like, I'm not going to take out Jace. I mean, I guess I could take out Jace, but I have the Academy emblem. That doesn't seem right either. I want to keep Jace on my board. Oh, by the way, I also really wanted that Hand of Justice over there. I really wanted that Hand of Justice as another sponsored item, but nope. It's not there. And then I wanted the Jeweled Gauntlet for Heimer. That's not there either. So I was like, all right. I guess we just take the Quicksilver Sash. It does get me another Rel. So, and then this Rel in the store gets me Rel 2-star. By the way, it doesn't show up in the store with the little graphic that shows it's going to be a 2-star. So I'll just put this Quicksilver on Jace, which is not a terrible item, but there definitely could be better. And then this is a great start as an Alawi. So yeah, you see, I end up selling the Victor, which makes me feel pretty bad, but ultimately I was like, I guess so. I do also have a Reforger, so I could make a Bramble Vest and look to Reforge it, potentially, because I don't really have a need for a Bramble Vest, but I think I just end up slapping it on Alawi anyway. Now, one reason why the Warmogs is such a good sponsored item here is I'm playing Sentinels. Remember, Sentinel trait gives you armor and magic resistance. It's a team-wide benefit. Everybody on the team, I think Sentinel 6 is everybody on the team gets like 40 armor and MR, and then Sentinels get triple. By the way, there's a Victor on the other board. So I think that the Sentinels get like 120 armor and MR, and then the rest of your team gets like 40-ish. So because you get armor and MR from Sentinel trait, what you really want to do to make them tankier is give them health. And that's why having Academy with Warmogs as a sponsored item is so good here, because Warmogs gives health. And then what does Academy trait do? Well, remember, when you put sponsored items, the units get additional max health. So that's why Warmogs is like super duper good here. And that's why the Loris is in such a strong position. Yes, more Leonas. I could have been close to Leona 3-star, I think, if I'd been saving Leonas the whole game. So that's a little bit unfortunate over there. Also getting very close on the Cog. I think that Headwinder is now on 7 of them with his 6 Automata board. And I believe he just hit the Cog right here. So he hits the Blitzcrank, and then the duplicator I sent him is enough to hit the Cog. So he's going to go ahead and make that. And his board has just spiked really, really hard because he's got 6 Cogmaw, or a Cogmaw 3-star on a 6 Automata board, which is another trait that's really overtuned in this patch. So as I said, definitely some mistakes here, but the fact that I couldn't get another Warmogs definitely hurt. I only have the sponsored Warmogs. I was never able to get another one throughout the game. I just could not really get belts in this game for whatever reason. Also, this round is super close. Oh, that Vlad survives with 200 HP, the only unit still left standing on the board. So I was like, that was very, very close. I really do feel like I need to get this Alawi too. And then I finally find Rumble. It's a little bit late in the game, but I mean, I can play him over, what, Rel? Yeah, definitely better than the Rel. So we can look to sell, and then now I need to look to try to upgrade, Alawi to Alawi 2, and get another Jace. If I can get Alawi 2, Jace 2, I'll be pretty happy with that. And then maybe I could try to go level 10 after that. I also do need to get one more item for Heimer because I was denied that opportunity to take a Jeweled Gauntlet off that carousel. And I have rather foolishly not put any of the sponsored items on him. As I said, Giant Slayer on him would have been kind of nice to get. That would have been certainly a good item to pick up. Also, why am I not picking up these extra crystals? All right, well, let me get an Ambessa and a Swain. Okay, we don't need that. All right, well, there's Alawi 2-star. So here I'm going to go ahead and I actually make a mistake. I need to transfer all of these items over. I should put all 3 of the items that were on Loris over there, but I end up not putting the Academy emblem on the Alawi, and that's a big mistake. I really need to have the Academy. I do get Nashor's Tooth here for Heimer, but like the Academy emblem needs to be on whoever is getting that Warmogs because they have so much synergy between the two of them. Also, there's a Mel here, but again, if I wasn't going to play Victor, I'm not going to play Mel off this board. And there's another Rumble, so I'll look to go ahead and lock for that. But it's just like, it's a big mistake because I have the Academy emblem on Rumble, but like Academy literally does nothing unless you Academy doesn't do anything unless you have the sponsored items. Like, unless you have a sponsored item, it literally does nothing. So like I just put that on Rumble. Rumble gets no benefit from having the Academy emblem at all. Now granted, other items, other units that have the sponsored items do benefit from it, but like you really want to combine the Academy emblem together with the sponsored item. By the way, apparently I lost my for whatever reason I lost my Giant Slayer there. So I'll go ahead and put that back on Corky. And there we go. There is another Jace. I was like, all right, you know what? I was going to save this Malzahar and send it to Headwinder, but I think this is going to be the last round of the game. So I'll just go ahead and the odds that I would be able to send the Mauls before this game ends seems pretty low. So I'll just sell that so I can make Jace 2. Jace 2 gives me a much better odds of winning this round. Still, I really needed to put the... it should be the Warmogs plus the Academy emblem, and then either the Bramble Vest or the Sunfire on Alawi, but not combining the Warmogs together. Like, the Warmogs has to be on an Academy unit, and I just didn't do that. So Alawi is still very tanky, but she'd be a lot tankier if she also had the Academy emblem instead of like the Bramble Vest or whatever. All right, I'm up against that Vlad board again. Now, the only reason this fight is tough is because they have a Victor over there. Without the Victor, I win this round very, very easily, but looks like it's going to be super close. And oh my God, are you kidding me? That Vlad survives with 169. He survived with like 250 the last round and 169 that round. I was like, are you kidding me? I still lost that even after I made the two-star... Even after I made the two-star, whatchamacallit, Jace back there, that's very frustrating. So no, I don't get that. And then now, embarrassment. Remember how I had that extra Malzahar to send a Headwinder? Yeah, we lose the round, the game does not end, and now I can't send in the Malzahar. Oof, a little embarrassing there. That was not my best move there. On the plus side, the other board, the family Pit Fighter reroll board, definitely is the weaker of the two boards. So I think I have better odds to beat this one than against that Vlad board, which again, I lost to with the last unit alive with 200 health and 150 health the last two rounds, so okay. But yeah, I do think I'm probably stronger than this board, even though my Rumble died before he got his Flamethrower off, which is kind of bad. But the rest of my board, I think, is pretty strong. Again, Academy 5 is giving me a lot of stats. It just could have been giving me even more stats if I had built the board slightly better. But again, it's a learning experience, and it looks like I'm still strong enough to win this. And it's going to be another first, with Jace doing the most damage. Again, Jace has, what, like 25% damage amp? Or no, 15% damage amp, because he has the one sponsored item. So, yeah. The alternate thing I could have done is, if I had held a Lux this game, I could have potentially dropped down to 4 Sentinel, and then put Lux and Victor in, and that would have gotten me 6 Academy plus Victor. That might have been better. I'm honestly not sure. I didn't really even think about that until after the game was over, but I guess that's another path I could have gone down. In any case, though, Academy is a really cool trait. I want to spend more time playing around with this. I just need more time to experiment, but for a first try, I was reasonably pleased with this one. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed this. Until next time, have a great week, folks. Take care. I'll see you again soon.